Hi everyone, good morning. I'm Julianna Jaffe Leven, and this is Awakening Wednesdays, where we share a discussion, or really I guess it's a teaching because I don't get to hear back from you until later. Some of you send information, so that's lovely. But it's a teaching about a sharing about how do we just find more peace, more joy, more love in our day-to-day lives. We plant seeds of possibility and just explore. And so today is very funny because I had a couple things come through that were all related, and I was weaving this to talk to you about. And then I had an experience. And it's funny because it wasn't a completely pleasant experience. And I really didn't want to talk about it. And I just kept feeling this push, That's exactly why it happened this morning, is so that I will talk to you about it. Because we all experience this. And that brought me to a fun journey around it. So I'll just explain. I had one of those experiences. I was setting up some arrangements. Actually, I'll just give you information so it explains it. Where I go to take my dog to a place where it's both a vet and a grooming place. And anyways, we got into this little tussle about they wanted him to have a new Bordetella. For those of you who aren't aware, it is a medication that gives dogs protection against a particular kind of virus that is shared when they're in close proximity to other dogs. And they were insisting that he have one. And I'm not that familiar with doing a Bordetella for grooming. I know they always, require rabies, but I was like I don't like to give my dog any more vaccinations or anything than he needs. So it's just a little reluctant, but I said, okay. And, but she said, well, he has to have that before he can come in. And I thought, okay, and she said, but if he comes in on the same day, then we can do the grooming. We can do the grooming first. And I thought, well, that makes no sense. And so I just I could feel something that got hooked in me. You know that feeling like you're not giving me the whole truth. So I said, well, if he could have it before on the same day, could he have the grooming first and then a couple days later do the vaccination? Because I really didn't want him to have icky associations. And she went back to what she said before, and it was very funny because I got a little hooked. And I said to myself, Julianna, this is not important. Just do it the way they want to do it and let it be. So I did. I did make the arrangements, but I didn't let it be inside. Have you ever had that? And it kept coming back, and I could feel inside I wanted to prove my point to her. I wanted to show her that she had not been authentic and honest with me. And she kept returning to it again and again, telling me why it was necessary to have this vaccination, which was completely not the issue any longer for me. And I just got very pleasant and, but as I was with it and thinking about talking about it this morning, I come from a very strong belief that which really irritates us outside of us is showing us something unhealed inside of us. And so I thought about it and I was with it and I thought, well, I do like to, part of my my sense of okayness in the world was about my clarity and being able to share things. And so I thought, well, I do have the part of me that likes to be right, but that didn't feel like it anymore. I've done a lot of letting go with that. And so I sat down to meditate for a few minutes before doing the talk. And I went, aha, it came to me. And it was about letting go. And it was about seeing the effects of not letting go. So I was feeling the effects inside of not letting go. Because before this phone call, I'd been feeling happy and pleasant, looking forward to this talk. And after that conversation, I was a little, a little grumpy inside. But then what I saw was the effects on the person, on her. And I realized she had been very pleasant. And then when I wasn't going along and I wasn't letting go, because I could see at that point, I wanted her to see that she, had said two different things. But what happened was watching her, she became more unpleasant to be around. She got tight and a little harsh. And I thought, oh, so that's what happens for me when I can't let go. So I felt it from the inside, like I felt the yuck, I don't feel so happy, I don't feel so great. But what I also saw is that what I put out in the world changes drastically. And I don't know if it makes as much sense as I'm speaking it as it did in the living of it. But what I got to see, we're all familiar with the song from Frozen, let it go, let it go. My 3-year-old great nephew loves to sing it. But what letting go, it had such an effect because it changed me inside. I was like, oh. And then I could see how it changes what we put out in the world. And then that has an effect because had I continued to hold on to it, and Lord knows what she did with that, that's two people potentially putting out yucky stuff in the world. And it doesn't feel good. It just plain and simple doesn't feel good. And it so often happens around things that don't really matter to us at all. It's one thing if this is a core piece, if it was going to really make a difference in the quality of my life, something that was deeply meaningful to me. It was none of those things. It was none of those things. So I just wanted to share this with you. Actually, I didn't want to share it with you. If you remember back to the beginning, I wanted to throw it away. And I knew too much. I knew that I couldn't throw it away because it was still with me. But I wasn't sure I was going to talk about it until that moment when I was given this vision, this like 3-dimensional vision of kind of the toxic impact of holding on to it. Something that could look so benign, like so big deal. Big deal if I hold on to it, big deal if I don't. But what I really saw was, wow, I'd be kind of holding on to poison there and bringing that into my day. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that to me. I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to do that to anyone I come in contact with. So once again, it feels like a wonderful little vignette, a video, an experience of life where we get to see, I get to see, you get to see how powerful an impact we have on the quality of what's going on inside of us and the quality of what we bring to the world. And if we haven't settled it inside of us, then we can do better outside of us, but we don't really shift. So I just want to say you deserve so much better. I deserve so much better than holding on to yucky, toxic junk that makes no difference in my life. Couldn't matter less. So I just want to invite you to be with that, to become more aware. If your mood shifts, if your energy shifts after an exchange, our world is pretty on edge these days. So a lot of people are a little sharper, a little trying to prove a point, a little more holding on because there's a lot that's uncertain. So that's what each of us can do. We can bring a different energy and we can wash ourselves in that beautiful shower of clearing and then bring that to the world. So thank you. I wish you a wonderful journey today, tomorrow, and this week, and I will see you next week. Bye now.